We're here at TPM Fastpitch in Atlanta, Georgia again, and we're going to do some training today with Stephanie, who is a signee with Troy University, and Ashlye, who is doing the training today. So let's go do some training. Under these training conditions, this is almost a perfect setup for your brain because it makes both of your eyes turn to look at the exact same image. It's almost like stereo vision in the sense of you get it, and when I take Vflex away, one of your eyes may go back to its natural weak position. So when I take it away, I may see a different hitter without Vflex than I see with Vflex. So what we've got to do is get you trained enough to where you're consistent all the time with that behavior. You express it here first. Then if you express it in the game, then we know your brain has taken the training. I mean, if we're not able to take it from here to the field, I'm going home because I give up. But I'm not giving up. We've seen records broken, unbelievable things happen already, and it's because we've changed the training environment in here. And we're going to give you the pitches that will help you recognize those 6 pitches are the best pitches that you'll ever see when they get to home plate.
Another area that we were discussing was when the athletes are actually reading the pitch and reacting in a live game situation. Even some of the best hitters still come in here, and one of the things that they have the toughest time with is if they're facing a strong rise ball pitcher, they still, as good as they are, the level they've reached, they still have a huge problem with the rise ball pitch. And that is one pitch that probably fools them more than any other, even changeup.
You know, what we're going to do with our Vflex devices, we're going to give your brain absolute depth. We're going to give it a benchmark to where it can absolutely make the best judgments for any pitch. It doesn't make any difference if the pitch is a fastball, a changeup, a curveball. It doesn't make any difference. The issue is for your brain to be able to lay off of that strong signal, because it's an awesome signal up in your eyes, then we have to desensitize your brain to that signal. And we can't do that with words. We have to do that by pulling you to that spot. Absolute depth, 12 feet in front of you, this device is pulling you absolutely, positively to one spot in time. And I don't care what the ball does, it's irrelevant. The only thing that has to happen is that ball has to come through that V. Even if it's a rise ball, if it comes through that V, you're going to get it because it has to. We've got it set at a place to where it's the last place you're going to see the ball. You know.
So eventually the athlete is actually in a live game situation, their brain is processing that V area on its own.
That's right, because we've actually built it in the brain. We've not asked you to imagine it, and we're not going to ask you to imagine it. We're actually going to stimulate you in these particular places to where your brain knows balls from strikes, period. No thinking required. So that person that's swinging at those bad pitches in a game, whether they're rise balls, down in the dirt, wherever, doesn't make any difference. We can fix that.
Okay.
But we want to get you through week number 1, make sure that you've mastered week number 1, and then we'll go to week number 2. If you don't do that, we're going to stay at week 1 for a little while.
What are some of the immediate red flags for you when you're working with an athlete that's going to tell you, hey, we need to stay on week 1, we're not ready for week 2?
Her sensitivity to certain pitches, you know, or maybe her body location. You know, she's out on her front foot a lot. She's pulling a lot of pitches, which tells me that one eye, the dominant eye, is doing most of the work, and the weak eye isn't doing anything at all.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll keep her at week 1, but we'll change the scenario. We'll throw you 2 balls at a time to trick one of your eyes to chase a bad pitch and let the other one do some work. Because if you don't trick the dominant eye, the lesser eye never gets to do anything.
Okay.
So we know how to fix certain things for you. You just gotta, your body has to tell us what's going on and not your words, because you might not see yourself and you might not feel it. But a trained eye like yours and mine we know something's up. So how do we fix it visually? Because this is a visual system. You're making bad choices, not mentally, you're making bad choices visually.
You've asked us in the training system to throw contrast pitches versus pitches through the V in the strike zone. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? What is the importance of the contrast pitches?
The contrast pitches are there for the reward system. You know, if you don't throw bad pitches, off pitches for the brain to know the difference between a ball and a strike, it will never know the difference between a ball and a strike. So that's the basic, that's the basics of contrast pitches. Some people call them crazy pitches because, and I get some flack from that. It's like, well, my pitchers don't do that, or my hitters would never swing at that pitch anyway. Well, that's okay. What we're doing is training a behavior that has to be trained.
Okay.
And great. Okay, probably a little, you might be a little fast, maybe just a little bit. Good. This being her first time, you just want to be a little bit slower than what you would normally be.
Okay.
In this segment, in the first week or so, you'll make sure that your strikes are slower than your balls.
Okay.
You'll throw balls really fast so they become a blur.
Okay.
And then you throw the strikes to where they actually become clearer and clearer and clearer.
Okay.
This first week anyway. Good.
Pause there.
That's fine.
And then do 7, like, I know that was a little.
Is that your 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if that's your 7, then, if you're working one-on-one, have her kick the balls up in a pile back there. Go ahead and move that for me. It's a shock. I mean, they've never seen anything like Vflex.
Never anything like obstructing my vision.
That's right. You've never actually had visual help.
Yeah.
Because when we take Vflex away, there's nothing to help you determine absolute depth.
Yeah.
I mean, you might pick the ball up here, you might pick the ball up here, you might pick it up over here. When we put this device in front of you, and this ball is released here, and it comes through here, we have 2 consistent things. The only inconsistent piece of the puzzle is you. You're a human. You're not consistent yet. You haven't rewarded yourself for swinging at strikes. You've only rewarded yourself for swinging at pitches. Now we're going to have your brain reward itself for swinging at strikes. Nice. Good. Beautiful. It's the unpredictability that we're after. You're throwing your contrast pitches, no more than 3 strikes in a row here. She seems to be a little bit on edge because she's not used to seeing this, and that's perfect.
Okay.
I don't need you to be comfortable. I need you to be excited, understanding that if I do my job, I'm going to get a really good pitch to hit. I don't know when that pitcher's going to throw it, but I know when I do see a strike, I'm prepared for it.
Right.
All right, now that's our 7-pitch set. We're good. We've been using Vflex. It's been releasing chemicals on our brain. We've been learning visually, so we'll just take Vflex away. Good. You see her trying to make some adjustments. She doesn't need your verbal help. She's able to see that her hips are doing this, or she's feeling the system at work now in real time.
One of the things she noticed after the first set, or even the first couple pitches, was when the ball was not in the strike zone area, she felt herself moving and she was uncomfortable by it. So that's one thing she noticed right away. She's like, I'm
doing things.
Right.
Yeah. And I love that. See, a lot of pitchers and a lot of coaches won't throw balls behind anybody. They always work away, and I don't like that. I like a full circumference around that batter, because you've got those muscles we talked about, you know, flexion and extension of each of these muscles. So that pitch felt differently, didn't it? It feels different than that pitch. It feels different than that pitch. It feels different than that pitch. So if it has a feeling to it, then I want you to feel it. I want you to know the entire space around your body and how to make adjustments. And we'll continue to do the same thing. We'll throw contrast pitches, you know, no more than 3 strikes in a row. Train in real time, just like you train with Vflex in front of them. Great. Good job. Steph, that's a wonderful job.
That was good. But I do think that was the biggest difference between Steph and Savannah as far as her noticing her body, where Savannah actually got settled in and it was like she was more zoned in and she didn't react and everyone's going to be different. So I like that feedback going, okay, Steph, like you're on your toes, you're uncomfortable right now. We need to get you comfortable in a game situation where your brain is naturally reading the ball without your body reacting just because the pitch is in a different location.
Okay, let me do something for you, okay, real quick. Let me do one set with you, maybe a set and a half, and I want to show you some changes for you here. We're going to do 2 balls. All I want you to do is hit the ball you see best.
Okay.
You see the difference between a ball and a strike? I don't care how bad the ball is or how good the ball is. It's a ball. And it feels and looks and sounds different than a strike does. And one more. Good. Great job. Thank you.